Ghost of the Deep is by far the hardest dungeon to solo flawless, especially for hunters, so today I'm going to try to make it a little easier by showing you what loadouts to run and how to finally achieve that exclusive emblem. For hunters, you're probably going to be running Solar or Arc with Assassin's Cowl, since Assassin's Cowl is extremely strong for survivability, which is what a majority of these solo flawless runs come down to. Solar has the added benefit of better supers with the newly buffed Celestial Nighthawk and Shards of Galanor, on top of having a constant supply of restoration. Arc, on the other hand, has one super that's pretty good, and Combination Blow, which allows you to add clear extremely well, and get some good damage off on bosses if you can hit them. Both subclasses are viable, so picking what subclass you want is up to you. But I'll make it easier to decide by giving you the loadouts for those classes and what I personally recommend. If this video isn't enough and you need more help that's catered to you, come by my stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I can try to go over information that is more specific to how you play the game. Currently I stream 12 to 4 PM EST, which I usually go on for longer, but all of that is subject to change. Doesn't matter what game I'm playing, just let me know if you need help. Whenever I'm available next, I'll try to help you out. Alright, on to the dungeon. Before I explain each encounter and my loadout options, I'm going to assume you know all the mechanics to this dungeon. I will not be teaching you how to complete this dungeon, just how to get the solo flawless. If you don't know how to complete the dungeon, you should probably just do a normal solo run first while learning mechanics. Just like Titan, for the first encounter, run whatever you want. Whatever loadout you like the best will end up getting you through this the fastest. I ran Assassin's Cowl with Blade Barrage since I like the safety net of restoration / panic healing nade, but realistically, anything should work here. Now here's where the fun begins. The second encounter, Ecthar, requires a lot of ad clear, big outputs of damage for the knights, ogres, and wizards, and a good loadout to kill Ecthar somewhat quickly. The loadouts I tested were Assassin's Cowl Gathering Storm with Legend of Acrius, Assassin's Cowl Gathering Storm with Lament and a Loosened Blade mod for faster sword guard recharge rate, and Assassin's Cowl Blade Barrage with Dragon's Breath and a fusion rifle. Out of all these combos I tested, I found that I consistently did the most damage and had the best chance of staying alive with the Blade Barrage Assassin's Cowl Dragon's Breath build. The reason I say this is the best out of these options is because the constant ignitions you're proccing from Dragon's Breath should keep Ecthar still, staggering him over and over again as long as you keep your rotation up, meaning Ecthar will never get close enough to you where you'll blow yourself up. This loadout ended up netting me a very consistent 4-phase, and I'm pretty sure even a 3-phase is possible if you're running the right gear. The Lament loadout was pretty alright, since Lament gives you a big amount of damage resistance and health while doing damage. But unless I suck, seriously, let me know if I did something wrong, I would cast my super and then start my Lament rotation, and even when I had a near perfect rotation of 3 charge swings, 1 heavy, then 3 normal light attacks, and repeat, almost without getting any air hits or bad sword tracking, since the whole arena is tilted on an angle, I was still hitting a minimum of 5 phases to kill Ecthar. I personally ran Arc with this loadout, but you could run Blade Barrage to see if that works any better. Lament is still a solid option since the survivability is great, but without any seasonal mods to help make the damage better, I'm personally going to pass on using it. The Legend of Acrius loadout also wasn't terrible, netting a 4-phase if you can land your pellets on his head consistently throughout the whole damage phase, but the survivability also wasn't great and would require you to leave mid-run and smack some adds for HP. Unlike Solar, none of our loadout here could extend or give us any health besides our powered melee. And on Solar, your powered melee is ranged, meaning you don't have to completely run away from the battle to keep yourself alive. I feel like the Legend of Acrius loadout is meant more for a Warlock, Solar Titan with Sunspots, or Bubble Titan with no backup plans. It's definitely not terrible, but you gotta know what you're doing with it. Not to mention, Legend of Acrius is 240 spoils, and you need the Catalyst to do good damage, so have fun getting that. Once again, I'm going to recommend just using the Dragon's Breath build with Blade Barrage, since these other options aren't nearly as good. Once we're done with Ecthar and the next set of painful traversal areas, we're finally at Simmumah, or however you say her name. Once again, you can run Solar or Arc here depending on what you like more. Solar for constant, reliable healing as long as you're killing adds, or Arc which gives you healing based on melee kills and has a ton of ad clear. Blade Barrage and Gathering Storm are both very good, but I'm still going to side with Solar since this season's artifact gives us a ton of benefits for building into Solar. And even then, Solar's healing grenade is just too good to pass up. One of the mods being Revitalizing Blast, which gives you a 15% weaken debuff against bosses or champions for 6 seconds when they're hit with a Solar ability. Your Blade Barrage knights count towards this and can instantly start that weaken for you. But besides the subclass, I'm going to recommend a couple of different weapon loadouts for you to run. Any of these can be mixed with Arc or Solar, it doesn't matter. For damage, you can run Linears, a Tracking Rocket, or Leviathan's Breath. Linears have a great ammo economy and great sustained damage, although for this boss, running something like Bait and Switch may be pretty hard since the damage phase you're constantly being attacked. And unlike Solar Titan, which can summon Sunspots to deal with them, or Well of Radiance Warlock, which can just sit there and tank it all, hunters get the fun job of moving around while doing damage, unless you can find a spot where nothing's going to attack you, of course. Other perks like Vorpal, Surrounded, Frenzy, etc. are very good and should work great, even if you aren't getting the 35% damage buff from Bait and Switch. Some good linear fusion rifles are Briar's Contempt with Reconstruction Surrounded, Taipan 4FR with Triple Tap Frenzy, Storm Chaser with Auto-Loading, Frenzy, or Vorpal, and Reed's Regret with Auto-Loading or Triple Tap and Vorpal. There's some other good linears, but you just want to make sure that you're not running something that will make it restricted for you to run around. Tracking module rockets, on the other hand, do all the aiming for you, so you don't have to worry about this. Some good tracking module rockets are Apex Predator with Tracking Bait and Switch, Bump in the Night with Tracking Frenzy or Vorpal, Hothead with tracking, explosive light, or vorpal, or Blowout, tracking, explosive light, frenzy, or vorpal. Remember that you're trading off some seriously good perks in the case of having tracking module to not miss your rockets. I also didn't personally test using tracking rockets on Simmumah, but I've seen footage of people doing pretty good with them in the past, so I'm going to take their word on it. Also, if you don't like Linears or Leviathan's Breath, this is literally your only other option. And finally, the best option, Leviathan's Breath. Leviathan's Breath is extremely strong with its buff that it received however long ago that was, and its catalyst helps you by giving you a permanent ammo reserve, which means you don't need to swap chest plates to rally for extra ammo. This also gives you Archer's Tempo, which means if you time your shots just after the arrow fully cocks back, you'll get a draw time and reload increase. This will end up bumping up your DPS quite a bit. You don't need the catalyst, but it definitely helps. I was way over the minimum for a 4 phase, even with playing it safe and not doing anything crazy for extra damage during the DPS phase. I also didn't have my Archer Tempo procced all the time and hit several body shots. I usually ended up using all of my ammo or ending off with a couple of arrows if I needed to stay alive. I personally think Leviathan's Breath is the best option. The best part of this weapon, alongside its great damage, is that it's available to anybody without doing any sort of activities. Sure, you might need to do whatever the requirement is for the catalyst, but even then, you don't necessarily need it. It's just very helpful. Now, alongside all these heavy weapons, if you decide to run one that's legendary, you should probably throw on Arbalest. Arbalest instantly breaks Simmumah's shield, which is around 500,000 damage worth of ammo right there. Arbalest also does great damage to Volrog, the knights around the room, the light bearers, and even the boss herself. I'm still going to recommend throwing on Leviathan's Breath and taking up that exotic slot, since even with the Arbalest 500,000 shield shot, you'll still be way in the clear for a 4 phase. Now that I'm finally done with all the weapon options, let's get into each loadout I recommend with the option of Arc or Solar. And after I'm done with that, I'll show you full phase examples of how to survive before DPS phase, how to perfect your DPS rotation with multiple different weapons, and what I did wrong so you can do better. Alright, so starting off with Ecthar, this is going to be Solar. The loadouts you're going to want to run, you're going to have Dragon's Breath on. I prefer a Solar Fusion Rifle, just so you can mix and match the Sturges together. Cartesian Coordinate's really good. It's not accessible anymore, or not as accessible, so you could also run the Airmite, Enemy's Assassin Controlled Burst, and then just any primary weapon. You don't need to make sure your Sturges match, so you could run Scatter Signal, which is insanely good, Riptide, whatever you want. So that's just what I prefer running. Onto the subclass, you're running Blade Barrage. You're going to run Gambler's Dodge to dodge and get your melee ability back, just in case you miss your knives. Whatever jump you want. Knife Trick, just because it's the best knife out there, especially for PvE. You're going to run Healing Grenades, and then you're going to be running On Your Mark, which will give you increased weapon handling and reload speed on Precision Final Blows. When you dodge, you get the max stacks already, which is up to 3 times. You're also going to be running Knock 'em Down, which enhances your Blade Barrage, gives it more projectiles, and then when you're Radiant, whenever you get Final Blows with your throwing knife, you'll get the melee energy right back. So this will chain infinite melees, and if we miss it, we have our dodge to get it back. Gunpowder Gamble could be run. It's extremely risky. I'm not going to recommend it for people who are newer, but there is a glitch with Gunpowder Gamble where if you get Gunpowder Gamble and you throw it immediately, the cooldown doesn't come into play at all. So you can get a bunch of kills with that Gunpowder Gamble or your melee or whatever, and get it back immediately over and over and over again. This is a very common strategy for solo run Root of Nightmares for Hunter. That's personally what I was running for Edclear there. So, onto Fragments. Ember of Empyrean. Solar Weapon or Ability Final Blows will extend our Restoration Radiant. That is a need. You must have that. Ember of Torches. Power melee attacks will make you Radiant. You also need that. That's how you're going to get melee back as well. Ember of Solace. This is optional. I just like having it. It's an ease of use thing. Radiant and Restoration. The base effect is increased, so it goes from 3 seconds to 6 seconds whenever you start it. So, very useful. You can swap that out if you want. Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. And then, not Ember of Ashes. I forgot to put it back on, so forgive me. It's the one that gives you your projectiles have Ember of Beams. Your solar super projectiles have stronger target acquisition. This is extremely, extremely useful for Simmumah, because depending on where you are in the room, you will miss almost all your knives. So make sure you have this on, at least for Simmumah. I know I'll get to that again in a second. I'll re-go over it, but besides that, make sure your artifact has at least Revitalizing Blast on. If you're using tracking rockets, you can use Argent Ordnance, and make sure you have Solo Operative on. And if you have a strand weapon, you can use Unraveling Orbs. These other ones aren't as useful, but you can look through them and put them on if you want. For mods, I'm quickly going to show you the gear screen itself. Wrong button. This is what it looks like if you want to take a screenshot. Okay, and now we're going to get into the actual in-depth part. So I'm running heavy ammo finders here. I don't need anything else here, so I'm going to be running heavy ammo finders. I also have kinetic siphon on, just because I want something to supplement my heavy-handed melee orbs, because it has a pretty big cooldown, unless you're running more than one. So I want my kinetic siphon to be constantly making me orbs, and the heavy-handed to supplement me orbs in between that. So you are probably going to run harmonic siphon here if you're using something like Cowl's mini tool or Azali's Bane, but I would recommend putting a siphon on. Prioritize that over the heavy, because you need orbs. On our gauntlets, I'm running impact induction. This helps you get your grenade back off of powered melee hits, not kills. Heavy-handed, you should probably be running this. This will help you get more orbs off of melee final blows. And then you're not going to need any sort of handling or loading mod, because we're using on our mark, or on your mark. On the chestplate, you're going to be running concussive dampener, because we're getting really close to Ecthar. For Simmumah, you can run the long-range ones. And then we're running arc resistance and solar resistance. You can swap these out depending on what you want, but the hive boomers, the wizards, I think that's it. They do arc damage. The acolytes you don't really need to worry about, but those are the big things that do a lot of damage. And I think the ogres are void, so you can swap this out if you want, but that's personally what I'm running. And then for the legs, you're running 2 surges and 1 scavenger. You can obviously make this 3 if you want, and swap legs to pick up ammo. I think this is too much work. I don't really care enough to do all that. So, and then for our cloak, you're going to want to prioritize running time dilations. If you have room to put anything else in there, put it in there. I would recommend at least running 2, because these damage phases are long, and if you're using rockets, Argent Ordnance will consume a charge, which means you need to be walking around the room and picking up orbs as well. The Argent Ordnance cooldown is about 4 seconds. So, I think with the Catalyst for Dragon's Breath, you can get 2 rockets off before it consumes another one. Just keep it in mind, though, that during damage phase, you will probably run out of surges, so walk your way around the room and pick up orbs just while you're thinking about it. Just try not to fall in the water. But I'm pretty sure that's it. Just a reminder that if you don't have Cartesian, swap to the Eremite, or you can run Callus and you can run Scatter Signal, or Zali's Bane, or Icallus, or whatever other weapon you want. Just make sure you're matching surges for orbs. You're using heavy-handed to make extra orbs. You've got the projectile fragment on, the restoration and radiant increase, and I think that's it. So now I'm going to show you the arc version of this. Now, if you just watch the solar version of this, the arc version is basically the same, except the only thing that's different is obviously the subclass. All the other mods are the same, maybe besides your siphon. So, for the class, you're going to be running Gathering Storm, you're going to be running Gambler's Dodge to get your melee back, triple jump, whatever jump you want. Combination Blow is a must. This is how you're going to get your health back and your class ability energy back. And then I'm running Pulse Grenade because I think Pulse Grenades are better than Storm Grenades now after they got nerfed a little bit ago. Lethal Current plays into Combination Blow extremely well, and you're never really using Tempest Strike, so Lethal Current and Flow Stay are basically a given. But I'll quickly read them off. So Lethal Current, after dodging, your next melee attack has increased range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target with a melee attack also binds them. Very useful for the majors. Then Flow State, defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. When you're amplified, your dodge comes back quicker, you're more resilient while dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. So pretty useful. For fragments, this is a newer one, so you might have to go buy this. Spark of Instinct, when critically wounded, you do like a shockwave of arc energy that will jolt people. Very nice, very useful for the close range damage. Spark of Feedback will increase your melee damage when you take melee damage. Useful as well, and you get plus 10 resilience. It's a nice plus. Your grenades jolt targets, also useful. If you're tending to get jolts too often where you don't need this, and you can swap it out for something else. And then Spark of Magnitude, which just increases our grenades longer. I am not an Arc Hunter main. This is probably very washed. This is personally what I ran. I still am going to recommend Solar over this, but just in case you want to see it, here it is. The weapons are still the same, so you're running Dragon's Breath, Cartesian Coordinate, or the Eremite, or you can swap it out and run your primary weapon here, and then Scatter Signal, or Riptide. It's just up to you. The armor mods, I'm going to show you once again, are the same. Take a screenshot if you want. Take a screenshot if you want. Okay, you're done now. Helmet mods, you're running 2 heavy ammo finders. You don't need these, but you really don't need anything else here. The Siphon should match your primary weapon, because you want to be making a ton of orbs. The cooldown on this is way faster than the heavy-handed mod. and your heavy-handed mod is going to be generating orbs every 10 seconds-ish, I think it is. So if you have multiple, that works too. I don't have room to put on multiple. You're going to run impact induction, assuming your grenade back faster. On your chest mod, concussive dampener, we're getting really close. For Simmumah, you can switch to this to sniper range. You're going to run arc resistance because wizards, knights, and the boss all do arc damage. Ogres, I think, are void, so you can switch that out. I just have solar on there. For the legs, you're running the surge modules for Dragon's Breath, so solar, solar, and then a scavenger. You can swap this out for solar if you want. I don't think it's worth swapping legs during mid-encounter to pick up more ammo, so I'm going to pass. And then on your cloak, you're running 2 time dilation mods. You want to at least run 2 just because the 18 seconds is worth more than swapping them out for other mods. If you want to swap them out, that's up to you. I'm not going to recommend it. Personally, run whatever you want. Just a reminder that Argent Ordnance consumes your armor charges. So make sure that when you fire your rocket, you're looking at your armor charges every now and then, because eventually you will run out. Do you need to worry about it? Not really. Realistically, not really. Because you should be doing plenty of damage to secure 4-phase if you don't completely fuck up your damage phase. So just keep an eye on that. It has a cooldown of 4 seconds, so I think you can get off another Dragon's Breath in time. I'm not completely sure. But yeah, that's the whole loadout. Just remember that you need to be playing your combination bow as your main ad clear, and then you can use your other primary weapon to generate orbs on the side, and your melee is giving you orbs as well, but that has a longer cooldown. So that's about it. And now we're going to move on to the Simmumah loadouts. Alright, so now we're at Simmumah. Your loadout for solar is going to be the exact same thing as Ecthar. Make sure you have the projectile acquisition thing on. Just in case you didn't watch the Ecthar part, I'll quickly explain it. Blade Barrage, Gambler's Dodge to get your melee back once you miss it. Your jump is whatever you like. Knife Trick just because it's the best one. Healing Grenade, it's obvious. On your mark is going to give you increased weapon handling and reload speed. Can stack up to 3 times. You get this off of Precision Final Blows. Sorry, forgot to explain that. And then when you use your dodge, you are getting max stacks immediately. Knock them down increases your Blade Barrage projectiles, so you're going to have more of them. And then when you're Radiant, your throwing knife kills will fully give you them back. So very useful. Gambler's Gunpowder Gamble real quick. There's a bug with it. When you get your Gunpowder Gamble, if you immediately throw it, you can get rid of the cooldown completely and chain them back to back to back to back to back. Up to you. Don't run it, personally. On your mark's too good to pass up, and knock them down is very good as well. For your fragments, you're going to be running Ember of Empyrean. Solar Weapon or Ability Final Blows extend the duration of Restoration and Radiant. This is very, 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 very useful. Don't take this off. Ember of Torches make your powered melee attacks give you Radiant. Very useful as well. You actually need this to get your melee energy back, unless you're getting Radiant somewhere else. Ember of Solace will give your base Radiant and Restoration effect, so once you first apply them, it'll increase it by, I think, double, so it goes from 3 to 6 seconds. And then Ember of Singeing, your class ability recharges when you're scorching targets, very nice. Ember of Ashes, not this, do not have this on. If you want to put it on, you can, I'm not going to recommend it. You're actually going to put on Ember of Beams instead. Your solar super projectiles have stronger target acquisition, this means that they will track easier. And on Simmumah, you basically need this. Depending on what part of Oryx's body you're fighting from, you're going to need this. So there's a quick loadout. Weapons, I'm personally going to recommend Leviathan's Breath. If you decide to run a linear, it's up to you. I've got Clown Cartus Firing Line, I've got a Triple Tap Vorpal, whatever. Bait and Switch is a little iffy, because unless there are no ads on the field, you are going to have a very hard time keeping and maintaining Bait and Switch unless you're the GOAT. I'm not going to recommend it personally, up to you. I don't have a tracking module rocket on me. I labeled them earlier, that's also up to you as well. If you're using a tracking module rocket, make sure you keep in mind Argent Ordnance. I've already explained this in the other 2 ones. I'm not going to explain it again. You're going to want to run a primary weapon that is in tandem with your Siphon mods to make orbs, just before damage starts. And then I'm running Scatter Signal here. I'd recommend just any fusion or like a shotgun maybe, especially for arc. Just a shotgun, a 1-2 punch shotgun for killing the light bearers. This is only used for killing light bearers in excess damage for the boss if you need it. So those are all up to you. But I'm going to prefer Leviathan's Breath. This is the best option. Quickly, let me show you my armor mods. These are the same from the last encounter. Take a screenshot. Same armor mods. Heavy ammo finders. You're running a Siphon mod that is in tandem with your primary weapon. For armor, or for the gauntlets, you're going to be running Impact Induction. This gives you your grenade back off of powered melee attacks, not kills. This gives you orbs off of melee, powered melee kills. You're going to be running sniper damage resistance here. Arc resistance because she does a lot of arc damage. And then you can swap these out depending on what you're fighting. I have solar on. Void is useful for the Titan, Solar is useful for the Hunter, etc. For the legs, you're going to be running 2 Void Surges and 1 Void Scavenger. Unless for some reason Leviathan's Breath doesn't work with Void, I'm almost positive it does. You know, I was probably thinking about Two-Tailed Fox. So run these. You can run 3 Void Weapon Surges if you want. I prefer having a Scavenger around just because I don't want to swap my stuff around. And especially if you're on Controller, that's going to be a pain in the ass. And then you're going to be running Time Dilation mods again. If you want to put on something like Special Finisher, which honestly you should never even need it, or Proximity Ward, when you do a Finisher, you get an Overshield. Those are up to you. I'm going to recommend Time Dilation mods because if for some reason you don't get your orbs in time, then you need as much of a timer as you can get with your remaining armor charges to do actually good damage. None of the artifact mods here matter besides Solo Operative. Maybe the Kindling Trigger or Flint Striker or Torch, or just the Kindling Trigger or Flint Striker. So realistically, you don't need any of those on. You should do just fine regardless of what season it is. And then quickly I'm going to explain Arc. I'm not going to do a type of recording for this because it's literally the same thing. So if you don't want to see Arc, you can skip to the actual phase examples now. Arc, you're running Gathering Storm, Gambler's Dodge, triple or whatever jump you want. Did it again. Combination Bow is a must. Pulse Grenades or whatever grenade you like the best. I think Pulse Grenades are the best right now just because Storm Grenades used to be the best. They got nerfed. Now Pulse Grenades are the best. I'm not sure. You can make the decision up for you. Lethal Current and Flow State. Lethal Current will give you, it'll jolt the target, increase your lunge attack, and create a damaging aftershock once you dodge. And then damaging any jolted target with melee also blinds them. Flow State, defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. When you're amplified, you get your dodge back faster, you're more resilient when dodging, and your reload is increased. Reload speed is increased. Fragments, we're running Spark of Instinct. When critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. Spark of Feedback. When you take melee damage, you get more melee damage on your next couple punches. It's a timer, so it's not actually your next couple punches. Your arc grenades jolt targets. It's very nice for that extra damage. And then Spark of Magnitude will increase your grenade duration. So Lightning, Pulse, Storm, Grenades, those are the only 3 grenades that works with. So make sure you take this off if you're using a different grenade. But Arc is pretty much the same, and the only reason I'm not going to recommend Arc is because you don't have a way to keep yourself alive during the boss, only if there's no ads around you. So if there's no ads around you, you have to take cover and do nothing. So I'm going to recommend Solar. You've got your healing grenade, you've got your max restoration before you go into the fight. But it's just really up to you at the end of the day. If an Arc season rolls around, use Arc. That's kind of what it was when Ghost of Deep first came out. That's why people use Arc a lot. And Arc is still very good. So realistically, it's up to you. I'm going to fully recommend Solar. I should be done with all the loadouts now. If there's anything else, I'll make sure to add it in. But I'm going to show you the phase examples now. So here you go. Alright, so I forgot to start recording for the actual first phase of this first encounter. So I'm just going to quickly show you it from the next one. Nothing is changed except maybe I have some of my abilities packed beforehand. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to show you quickly one phase of the first encounter. You should already know how to do this. Honestly, I'm just going to recommend you skip this whole thing unless you don't know what to do or you just want to see me do it. So, sorry, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. So basically what I'm doing is I'm throwing my knife straight at the wizards. You should try to break their shields first just to secure the knife kill. But you want to make sure you're throwing your healing grenade down and keeping your restoration up the entire time. The first phase has 2 wizards, the second one has 4, and then the last one has a light bear. It's really simple. Just make sure you know what symbol you have. So look, I'm breaking the shield there. Throw some knives. Breaking the shield here. Throw some knives. And I'm just throwing knives all around. I'm running Assassin's Cowl here as well. And then here's the last one, so that was 4 wizards right there. Right here, we're going to have 2 light bears. I'm also running Eager Edge just to get around faster, because I don't need a heavy weapon here. I have my Blade Barrage here, so I'm going to use it on this wizard. Yep, wizard. Boom. Doesn't kill her all the way, so I'm just going to melt her down. You could use your fusion rifle there. Look, there's a symbol hamburger. Boom. That's it. That's it. It's that easy. We're going to go deposit it now. I'm sword swinging away to pull out my Sparrow so that I don't blow up. Because your Sparrow blowing up does a lot of damage. Look at my goated ass Sparrow. That thing is epic. Once you get up here, make sure you watch out for the Knights, because the Knights actually do a good bit of damage. So, what I like to do is I like to start off with my fusion. It's usually a secured 3 or 4 fusion rifle kill. If it's not a 4, that means you can finish it off with your knife. So I'm throwing my healing grenade here. I'm going to use my Callous Mini Tool to get some of my restoration back. Finishing off the wizard. I'm going to do the reveal and then I'm going to dunk it. Very easy. It doesn't get much harder than that. Next I'm going to show you Ecthar. So now we are on Ecthar. This is the Dragon's Breath loadout with Solar. I'm not going to show you guys Arc gameplay just because it's extremely similar. The only thing you need to worry about with Arc is just constantly getting your melee back and using it back and forth. So I'm not going to really show it, it's just the same thing. So I start off by 2-bursting each of the knights with Cartesian. That's just how Cartesian does it. Depending on the range, I have to 3-burst, or I just throw my knives at it. So I'm going to immediately kill everything. I didn't kill the over there. I shoot him once. He's dead. Easy. So I'm not worrying about adds, because I don't need to. I immediately kill the knights and the ogre. Free the symbol, squid game, table, and impulse. So I'm going to drop down from the right side always, which is just what I always do. Just make sure you know how to navigate underneath. I'll throw a map up on screen right now, probably. And I'll put it in the description if you want to download it. So you could just snipping tool it, or if you're on mobile, you can download it. So I'm hitting all my symbols real quick. That gap right there I was just looking at, you can actually jump through that. Same thing with this one over here, right next to the table. So I'm making my way over here. So I hit table here, and you can jump up on the coral, or whatever that is, the plants, and you can actually jump through this crack. Boom. It's easier than it looks there. I kind of messed up. As soon as you come out, you're going to throw your healing grenade, your restoration starting, and now you're going to go around and get a bunch of solar kills. Now my restoration's maxed out, so I'm fine. Right now I'm just trying to get some siphon kills. I'm whiffing a little bit, it's fine. I'm trying to get some orb generation so that I don't have to worry about it later when I pick up all the 3 buffs. There's the first one. Just a reminder that Vestige of Light, the cooldown never increases. So even if you pick up 3 Vestige of Light, your timer's going to be the same as the first one. If you're holding onto it still. Not if you pick one up, deposit it, and then pick up another one, you'll get back the full timer. But if I watch this, I'm gonna pick up this one. I'm at a minute. Okay, good aim. Good aim. I'm at 56 seconds. I finish this, and I'm still at that about the same timer. So just keep that in mind. If you're low on ammo, so like I'm kind of low on ammo here, I should not have finished the last wizard here. I should have gone and got special ammo first, then come back and killed her. Now I only have 48 seconds to get my siphons and ammo. And what you'll find out, I see a special brick there, that's cool enough. What I end up finding out is that I'm a little too low on ammo. But even with my 8 or 7 shots that I end up having here, I end up doing more than a quarter. So I'm going to show you this bad damage phase to show you that I still have plenty of room to actually beat the encounter. In 4 phases, of course. So right here I'm just trying to get some special ammo. I'm also making orbs with kinetic siphon. Because my armor charges at 3 seconds right here, so I'm trying to get another orb. I'm out here killing stuff, taking my time. I've got 8 seconds, so I'm like, fuck it, I just gotta go. I'm not gonna have special, whatever. So right there, I grab an orb, I deposit. I'm gonna drop my way down here. I'm gonna 2-burst this knight. He's dead, sit in the circle. I'm gonna Dragon's Breath, and then Blade Barrage. That should instantly break a shield, throw my healing grenade down. Now I have Restoration procced. He's gonna put up his shield once his shield... So once his actual shield breaks, like his white shield, he's going to throw up his Titan Shield. Just a reminder that you should take off any champion mods because anti-barrier goes through shields, including rockets. So if you have Overload Rocket on, your rocket won't go through the shield. Because we're raiding, we get anti-barrier. I don't know if I said that already. So my rotation is... Let me rewind it a little bit. Dragon's Breath, Blade Barrage, Fusion, 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 Dragon's Breath, repeat. So here we go. Once I start seeing white numbers, so I see a white number right here, 37k, I know that I should throw my melee soon for Revitalizing Blast, and because I just threw Dragon's Breath on there, I know it's not going to blow me up. So I get close, I throw it, throw Dragon's Breath again there, the other Dragon's Breath just blew up, and look, I'm out of Fusion Rifle ammo. So you guys will have better damage than this. That was a waste of a knife there. Boom. Dragon's Breath roll, reproc Revitalizing Blast. Boom, do it again, grab special ammo. So like right here, I've already hit a quarter. I've hit a quarter and I haven't, for like 2 Dragon's Breath shots, I haven't even had any Fusion Rifle ammo until now. So that's plenty of health. If you have, this is 3-phaseable right here, and I didn't even have max ammo. So you can definitely get a 3-phase done here. Not that bad. And because Dragon's Breath is igniting all the time, he will not walk around the room. Just be wary that is Destiny, and sometimes Destiny likes to bug out. And he might chase you around the room, so good luck. Alright, so we're at Simmumah now. This is the Leviathan's Breath Loadout. What you're going to do, if you have linears or rockets, is you're basically going to be running the same thing. You're going to try to be moving around the room and all that. So, just pretend if you're using one of those that my Leviathan's Breath is your weapon. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by killing all the moss. We're going to proc our invisibility. hit the deep sight, and then we're going to remember where our triangle is. So it's going to the hand and then to his helmet, or his head. We're going to kill Volrog. You can use your fusion rifle for this. You're going to prioritize killing Volrog, the knights around the room, and keeping the ads not super dense. So you're going to try to thin out the herd of ads. I'm just doing that right now. I'm just killing a bunch of ads. Just a reminder that every time Volrog spawns in, the moths come with it. So right here I'm going to kill a knight real quick. Just making sure that I'm still keeping my restoration up the entire time. If you run out of restoration, it's not a big deal. You just throw your knives at an enemy, you'll sit invis, and you shouldn't take any damage unless you get unlucky and like you get hit with AoE or something. Alright, so I'm just gonna skip through a little bit. I'm gonna show you just the helmet. Well, I guess it's right here. I'm gonna show you the helmet one real quick. Just because the top of his head, Volrog has some weird tracking. So sometimes he'll take forever to jump up here. One tip is you can pull back your Leviathan's breath, charge, hit him in the head once, and sit in the circle, and he'll die like a second or two later. I think as long as you have armor charges. So here's all three of them. I'm going to make my way to the wizard one first, just because I'm closer to it, so I wanted to do it. The wizard usually doesn't ever get to use her super. So right here, I'm going to 3-burst her, almost 3-burst her. She's pretty low, finish her off. I remember my table is symbol. My symbol is table, jeez. And then I'm just going to go back through the water. Just a reminder that the water is a safe place. You can swap exotics here. You can, you can't reload your guns. You can do whatever you want, though. You cannot take damage in there, unless for some reason the game bugs out and you can. So if you ever need to take a break or you're taking too much damage, jump in the water. To deposit our buff, we're going to make sure that I'm proccing invis, hitting deep sight, and then going and placing it down. Pretty simple there. We're going to go into the hunter next. The hunter is the same thing. I end up picking up an orb here, which gives me unraveling orbs, unraveling rounds for my fusion rifle. He decided to break my ankles. Very nice, thank you. That's the symbol of 3 dot. We're going to go dunk it again, and then here's the Titan. The Titan is probably the scariest out of all of them, just because he can do a ton of damage to you at once. So make sure you're going in invis first. You can definitely 3-burst this guy. This is if you have unraveling orbs. And then you're just going to go dunk it. So make sure that before damage phase starts, you're killing as many ads as you can get, and you have max armor charges and hopefully max restoration. She's going to spawn ads during the phase, most likely, so just be on the watch out for that if you ever need to reproc your invis or restoration. I'm actually going to skip this first damage phase. I'll show it later if you want to see a bad damage phase. But I want to start off with a good damage phase first, just so that you can understand the rotation and how it should look. Alright, so here is the start of the rotation. What you're going to use, you're going to deposit, and if you're running Arbalest, you'd break the shield, and then start your rotation. But here, we're not using Arbalest, we're using Leviathan's Breath, the goat for this. Start off with your Blade Barrage. This is going to proc your weaken, and you want to get your super out of the way first. Try not to move your movement joystick around or your keybinds, so then you don't fly out of your spot. And did you see how hard those tracked to her when she decided to go up a little bit? That's that Ember of something, I don't know. That's that one mod. So right here, we're going to start proccing our Archer's Tempo. The reason, so right now I'm ADS, but you can also hipfire like that. So here I ended up missing the shot there. But your hipfire is very accurate with bows. So the reason I'm hipfiring is because look at my radar. There's only one enemy nearby. So what I'm doing is I'm using my radar to know where the enemies are. Because if I get flinched, I miss an arrow. That's just like, that's on me. I knew there were ads there, or I didn't know there were ads there, and I ended up missing a shot because of it. So now that I know that no enemies are dead, or all enemies are dead, I can proc Archer's Tempo here, keep hitting her in that over and over again, and make up insane damage. I have plenty of extra time here. Ads are now starting to spawn in. So the safe route would be to just go hide. You've done over a quarter damage, whatever. I end up doing some extra damage. As soon as it says immune, I'm reprocking my healing or my invis. I whiffed the melee there. You didn't see that. That didn't happen. So that's that. If you want to see the bad damage phase, I'm going to show you right now. If you're done, thanks for watching. You can watch the outro if you want. Leave a like or subscribe or whatever. I don't care. I do care, but you know what I mean. So there's the there's the good damage phase, and then here is the alright damage phase. Not bad. Same thing. Start off with Blade Barrage. Some of the knives miss. That tracking didn't do very much there. And see, this is where I'm really hip firing. This is the one I'm really end up hip firing in. In my ad clear, I think she had just summoned ads as I started, or I just didn't kill enough. I don't remember. I missed 2 arrows on this whole thing. But right now I'm prioritizing staying alive, because if I die, I have to do the whole dungeon over again. For me, I don't actually have to do the dungeon over again, because I'm just recording how to actually do the phases. I'm not doing solo flawless. I've already done them all, so. I haven't done them all on each character, but... So yes, you could call me a frog. So just make sure that you're prioritizing staying alive. You should be watching your health bar while you're trying to, you know, aim down sights or hip fire or whatever. But that's the damage phase you don't necessarily want. It's not bad. This will end up being a 5 phase, maybe 6 phase if you know, mess up a little more. But you can definitely redeem a 4 phase. I totally redeemed a 4 phase here. This is a 26-minute fight. Probably the longest out of all the dungeons. This dungeon is very long, so good luck. But that's about it. If you're running Arc, it's about the same thing. You're just going to start off with your super, and to stay alive you need your combination blow. But if you don't have your melee, or you don't have any adds, and you are super low, good luck. You are probably going to die. That's why Solar's better. Solar on top. Sorry, all my Arc Hunters. I'm also not an Arc Hunter main, so maybe there's something else I'm missing. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to roll the outro in a second, and if you decide to skip that, thanks for watching. So, that's it. Congratulations on your solo flawless on the hardest dungeon in Destiny. Now that you've completed this dungeon, you can definitely complete any other of the solo flawless dungeons for sure. If this helped you out, consider leaving a like or subscribe. I also hit 500 subscribers, which means I'm now eligible for the members program. If my videos are helpful enough to you to the point where you've actually considered donating anything, feel free to join the members program. It's just for saying thanks, and there's no real benefits besides maybe having some cool badges whenever I stream. Also know that this is a monthly program, so please make sure to cancel your subscription if you only ever want to donate once. Just a reminder that if you ever need help, feel free to join my streams around 12 to 4 p.m. EST and ask me whatever you need. It doesn't matter what game I'm playing, I'll try to answer your questions. I just ask that you give me a little bit of time to try to get to a safe spot or a safe point to check in on you. Once again, thanks for helping me hit 500 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you around.